Jameis from his rookie year. So, I mean, in my opinion, franchise quarterback is tossed around a lot, but I mean, a franchise quarterback is probably considered widely the guy that's the face of your franchise, and that most people would say he's going to be your quarterback for 10 years plus.
Coach, the Giants haven't run the ball successfully real well in their first 3 games. Is that because they've been behind and had to throw?
I'm not sure about that. They haven't attempted very many runs. They were behind most of the game last week against Philly. They were down 14-0 going into the second half. So they made a really good comeback. They were down in the Dallas game, and they were down in the Detroit game. So that could be. I'm not real sure on their play calling.
Dirk, you don't want to go into a lot of specifics, but in terms of where you were Sunday injury-wise and who you were able to practice today, do you feel good about how well things have come back from that?
I think under the circumstances, we're about as good as we could hope to be. I mean, you'll see the injury report coming out, and I think if you just look around the league on a Wednesday practice, there's teams all over the league that have guys that don't practice for one reason or another on Wednesdays, and we're no different. But it could have been worse.
Coach, what offensive and defensive improvements have you already seen since Sunday?
That's a hard one. Well, today's the first day we practiced. Okay, so you're not gonna go out there. When you come back out, the first thing you're doing is getting your game plan ready on offense, defense, special teams for the Giants. So, most of the time when you get to the season in the NFL, you're making your corrections off the last game, but then you have a new set of problems coming into the next game. And so progress measured where we could really see it a lot of times isn't going to show up until Sunday. It's hard because in practice you're working on different things. Now, there's a deep ball thrown in practice today, and Vernon Hargreaves made a nice interception. Is that progress? Or I've seen Vernon Hargreaves make a lot of interceptions in practice, and everybody's trying to fix the things they need to work on from last week. But like I said, there's just the Giants created a different set of issues for us.
A lot of people are pointing to that 0-3 record. Fans are, but you talk to the guys in the locker room, they're not underestimating this Giants team at all. I mean, what really jumps out at you with them? It seems like the record is a little deceiving.
Yeah, well, it's early in the year. I mean, I think everybody has a tendency with us, with the Giants. I mean, we got these power rankings when teams drop 20 spots based on one game. I mean, some teams have played 3 games. We've played 2 games. The players watch the tape, all right? So when you say fans go by 0-3, I don't think most fans don't watch the tape. Okay, when you're a player and you look at the Giants and you see Eli Manning, Sterling Shepard, all their receivers. I mean, they got Beckham back this week, and then you look on the defensive side and you see Pierre-Paul, you see Vernon, I think they got 3 first-round picks in their secondary. I mean, you just, as a player and as a coach, you're just looking at good football players. And if you really look at the end of that game last week, they made a great comeback. It was 24-24. It was kind of crazy how they lost that game at the end. I mean, they had the ball, then all of a sudden they had to punt, and kind of a crazy play there. So I think players have a tendency to respect other teams maybe more than the fans do. I mean, we got Robert Ayers, who used to be a Giant on our team. We have Deshaun Jackson, who played in the same division as the Giants. Same with Chris Baker. So I think the players talk, and they know, hey, they got some pretty good players over there.
You've talked so much about the progress that Kendall Beckwith has made to get on the field, to play the roles he has in multiple positions. How much more of a step is it for him to take on the communication and the mental aspect of things on Sunday?
Well, he had to do it. He had to do it last week. I mean, let's hope he doesn't have to do it every week. But he did have to do it at the end of the game last week, and he handled it fine. So as far as I would say nothing really surprises me about Kendall Beckwith at this point, to overcome the physical part that he did, the mental part, learning multiple positions, and he's been asked to do a little bit more every week so far, not only in training camp, preseason, and through our first 2 games. That I would just say nothing really surprises me about that.
Coach, with your experience in the league, is it harder to get a team back on track after a close loss or after a big loss? Or is a loss just a loss?
I think a loss is a loss. I think a loss is a loss. They all hurt the same. That knife is in there deep, and you're bleeding, and nothing gets it out till you get that taste out of your mouth. I mean, I think most of the best teams in the league, they're doing everything they can to not lose 2 in a row. And again, it's one thing to lose, but to lose and play the way we did when we know, if you play your best and you're executing and there's a lot of other good players and good teams in this league. If you play your best and, you come up short, that's one thing. But to play like we played last week, I know it leaves a really bad taste in my mouth, and I think I speak for pretty much every man in the room in there that says we got a bad taste in our mouth right now.
Sorry, everybody makes such a big deal about Odell Beckham's one-handed catches, as they should. They're flashy, they're exciting, but what else is so imposing about him?
Yeah, that's a very good question. The main thing that's imposing about him is he's got great speed. He can make crazy catches, but his run after the catch, I mean, when he catches that ball in the open field, you kind of hold your breath, because they run a lot of slant routes, in-breaking routes where he's running full speed, or if you don't get him on the ground pretty quick, he can make you miss, and then he can outrun pretty much everybody on the field.
Dirk, outside of not turning the ball over, what do you think has to happen on offense to get you guys into a higher gear here consistently?
I think we just need to get in and stay in a rhythm. Offense is a rhythm. Sometimes it's, you got to get a break and you got to get a exceptional play, and we have some exceptional players that are capable of doing that. But consistent offense is you're in a rhythm. Everybody's doing their job. There's going to be a couple plays that don't go your way, but for the most part, you're moving the football, and you should be able to score over 21 points a game. I mean, that's what we need to do. We haven't done it yet, and obviously that starts with me.
Ryan Smith, they talked a little bit about just understanding he had made mistakes kind of in the first time he was thrust into a major role at cornerback, and you don't know whether he'll be in that role again Sunday. What did you see from him in terms of how he's responded to learning from the stuff on tape?
Yeah, I think players bounce back quicker than everybody else, including coaches. I think players bounce back the fastest. I think for players, these guys are young men. I think they see what their mistakes are, they get corrected, and I think for the most part they move on and try to do better. So, Ryan, I mean, he played a lot in the preseason. That was his first time out there in real football, and let's face it, they went at him a few times, and for him to play in this league and play consistently, he's going to have to play better than that.
Vernon Hargraves didn't play a little bit more aggressively last week? That's something you guys have been talking about, or was that the schematic thing? Well,
Vernon wasn't the only player in that book, so for me to single him out would be unfair to him. I'm surprised that as a team we didn't play better, and again, that starts with me. I got to get him ready to play better.
A lot of you have mentioned, Coach. You want to see? Sorry.
That's all right.
A lot has been made about obviously what happened on Sunday, and I know you've in the organization have supported players in their right to demonstrate how they see fit, but there are some fans that have come out saying that they want to boycott the NFL, whether it be viewing, whether it be in the stadium. I know you said you really want to pack that lower bowl with fans. What would you say to some of the fans that are thinking about maybe turning off the TV or not coming to games?
I hope you don't. I hope you don't do that. I hope you can find it to support your local team, and I hope your local team is the Bucs. And I still hope we have all Bucs jerseys in that lower bowl. I mean, nothing has changed. This is uncharted territory as far as what's happening with the whole scene. It's still changing. It's changing every single day, and there's not a lot of people that are coming out with the right answer right now. There really aren't any cut and dried answer. Everybody has their belief on what they think they believe, but our country is also built on respecting the other man's opinion, other man or woman's opinion. So that's where we are. It's uncharted water, and I'd much rather be talking about football, but this is where we're at. Hope they come support us. We still love our fans. I hope they love us. Go Bucs.